Here's one other story I'd love to tell
Go.
about Frank Sinatra, his run-ins with Frank
Yeah,
Sinatra.
let me hear this. This is.
So he's down in Florida, and somebody told him he could become a maitre d'. So he says, "Do I have to wear a skirt?" Because he didn't know what a maitre d' was. So he goes into Jilly's. He's working for Jilly's. So who is Frank
I know
Sinatra's
Jilly.
best friend? We all know that. So
Oh,
he's there. So somebody teaches him how to be a maitre d'. Says, "Listen, somebody comes in and wants a table. You stick your hand in your pocket, and you say, 'Do you have a reservation?' And if they don't have a reservation, you know that
gotta fork you.
they want to get a little bit of, a little tip there. So,
yeah.
so he would do that. So somebody comes in and says, some guy comes walking in and says, 'Okay, I want a table. It's for Frank.' Then he says, 'You got a reservation?' 'What do you mean it's for Frank?' 'You got a reservation? I can't do it. It's for Frank Sinatra.' 'Oh, I got a table right here.'
Yeah.
Right here. The guy says, 'I don't want that table. I want that table.' But people are sitting there. Get them out of there. Vinny goes over to the table, says, 'You're going to have to move. I'm going to have to move you over here.' The guy who gave you that table made a mistake. They said, 'You gave us the table.' He says, 'Okay, I'll get you, move over. I'll give you a couple of drinks.' In comes Sinatra. He says, 'Is this the guy?' And he hands him $100 bill.
Who hands him $100?
Sinatra hands him
Sinatra gave me a $100
bill.
bill too once also.
Oh,
I was
yeah?
a doorman
Yeah.
at a restaurant. Yeah.
And he gave you $100.
He gave me a $100 bill for
Fantastic.
opening the door.
Wow.
I wish
Yeah.
I was able to meet him.
Just opening the door.
Yeah,
I
so the
like
story,
that.
of course, never ends with Vinny. His stories never end. So he's there, and they want him to sit down. And he says, "My boss is Jilly's going to fire me if I sit down." Sit down. The guy put his hand on his shoulder. Jilly came in. "Don't worry about it. Everything's fine." Vinny bought him a bottle of wine, but Jilly said, "No,
Yeah.
everything's free for him." And
Yeah, of
Sinatra loved him. He walked out the door. He gave him another $100.
And $100 back then is like
Oh,
$1,000.
forget about it. This
A lot of money.
Yeah.
Few years later, Sinatra's playing Carnegie Hall. So he pulls up, Vinny's got a date. And he pulls up in the limo. Sinatra pulls up in the limo, gets out, and Vinny's girlfriend says, "It's Frank Sinatra, it's Frank Sinatra." Vinny goes walking over, and Sinatra says, "Hey, what are you doing here?" He says, "Oh, I live in New York." "Oh, what's your name again? Is it Benny?" "No, it's Vinny." "Are you correcting me?" "Okay, it's Vinny. Benny's my middle name." So, Sinatra says, "You got tickets?" He says, "Yeah." He gives Sinatra the tickets. Sinatra goes, where am I going to, listen, you're going to go to the door over there. You're going to tell the guy that I said, sit you down in the front.
Oh, nice.
Vinny says, "Oh, that's wonderful." And the girlfriend is, of course, going crazy and all that stuff. "You know Frank Sinatra?" He didn't want to explain everything.
Yeah,
So he
yeah.
says, "Yeah, we were friends back in the day, so like that." So he goes to the door and he says, "Sinatra said to come to you and tell you my name. It's Vinny," or sometimes I go by Benny. It's Vinny.
You could call me Ray. You could call me
Anything.
Jay.
I remember that.
So, he got to sit in the front, and he said during the show, Sinatra looked down at him and, made eye contact with him.